you and other people continue to spread these innuendos that have nothing to do with who I am.
Well, Hillary Clinton started it, and then you shot back at her, boy. You called her the queen of warmongers.
You doubled down, unfortunately, you doubled down on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier.
That's Tulsi Gabbard, standing toe-to-toe with the hosts of The View, refusing to let them smear her over Hillary Clinton's unsupported suggestion that she was some kind of Russian asset. Welcome to Nurk News. I'm Nurkish. Today, we're revisiting a TV moment that deserved far more attention than it got. Not long ago, I ran a community poll asking who you'd want to see Donald Trump choose as his running mate. To my surprise, a large portion of you chose Tulsi Gabbard, so it seemed like the perfect time to take another look at one of her boldest appearances, where she dismantled the hosts of The View on their own platform. It's a moment worth remembering, especially since clips like these tend to disappear when they don't line up with the prevailing narrative. Here's the episode she was referencing, the one where the hosts echoed Clinton's claims and tossed out accusations with no real evidence behind them.
For me, honestly, Hillary's been dead on with so many things. She told us about Russia. She told us about the probable interference during the debate. She was Secretary of State. I've often said that Tulsi is sort of the Trojan horse in this. She's polling only at 1.2%, yet she's still in the race. You have her being touted by people like Fox News personalities like Tucker Carlson. She's endorsed by sort of the Russian support. There have been about 20 Russian bot websites that have supported her since she's announced her run for the presidency.
She tweeted back and called Hillary a warmonger. Okay, so that does not do anything for me. She hasn't denied it. She hasn't said anything in her tweets. How dare you? It's outrageous. Of course I'm not.
It's almost comforting in a way that Sunny and Joy haven't changed one bit but are still serving up the worst takes with the most ironic names. But what Tulsi Gabbard did here was pure brilliance. And that's exactly why they were so rattled. Attacks like these are designed as sleight of hand. They shift the conversation and frame the debate so you're forced to defend yourself instead of telling your story. If Tulsi had just clapped back at Hillary Clinton online, it would have vanished in the noise of social media. But doing it in person, calmly and directly stripped away their protection. She looked them in the eye, exposed their cowardice, and made them squirm under the weight of their own hypocrisy. That's why this moment hit so hard. It wasn't about outrage or theatrics. It was about standing tall in a room full of people who never expected to be challenged.
Because recently on your show here...
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Helping you out.
You want me to ask you the question?
Look, some of you have accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that. Franklin Graham finds you refreshing. He doesn't find me refreshing. Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, says he could vote for you.
Joy, this is why
you're on Tucker Carlson at least 10 times. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show?
This is why.
And then, somehow, Richard Spencer's name gets tossed into the conversation. Why does it sound familiar? Oh, right. He made public comments during the last election cycle suggesting support for Joe Biden, though the Biden campaign rejected any association. Not exactly the kind of shout-out anyone would be eager to claim. But that's the level of sloppiness these smear attempts rely on. They'll drag in any name if it helps. Muddy the story. People might say Tulsi Gabbard should have chosen a more establishment-friendly platform somewhere producers could keep everything neatly packaged to fit the preferred narrative. But she didn't. She walked straight into a hostile environment because she's not interested in being managed by the same media machine that tries to paint every outsider as a threat.
but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. That's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
It's offensive to me as a soldier, as an American, as a member of Congress, as a veteran, and frankly, as a woman, to be so demeaned in
But you
such
called
a way.
her the personification of rock.
So demeaned
She's a woman
in such
too.
a way. Well, I'm pointing to the fact that she has continued this legacy of being the world's police around the world, that has waged wars costing the lives of thousands of my brothers and sisters in uniform. I'm speaking out against that. And
What's
to
your evidence
change,
to that?
To change.
Well, can I?
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
I served in the war
Not
in
you,
Iraq.
her. You're saying that she's
exactly.
she's a
I served
warmonger. How do
in
you
the
come
war
up with
in
that?
Iraq
Yeah.
that she championed. She championed a regime change war
Did you not
in
believe
Libya.
in that war?
I believe.
And just look at Joy's reaction during that exchange. The discomfort was hard to miss. Tulsi Gabbard wasn't expected to push back. The usual script is to sit politely, smile, and absorb the criticism. Instead, she responded with calm confidence, and that seemed to catch them off guard. This dynamic is familiar. Many critics felt similarly about Donald Trump. He didn't follow the unwritten rule that you can be criticized, mocked, or misrepresented, but you're not supposed to answer in kind. In that media environment, you're expected to take the blows and be grateful for the platform. Tulsi didn't play along. She openly challenged what she saw as hypocrisy and responded directly. And, as often happens when someone pushes back, the tone shifted suddenly. The critics sounded like they were the ones being wronged. You could almost hear the outrage. How could you challenge Hillary Clinton like that? It felt like playground politics, emotion taking the spotlight over substance, which is one reason some viewers say they've stopped taking those exchanges seriously. So what about you? Were you among the people who said you'd like to see Tulsi Gabbard as Trump's VP pick, or did this moment change how you view her as a political figure? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. Until next time,